What's going on, people? We are back yet again. This is stream 11 or podcast number 11 of guess what? The Music Money Makeover show. Yes, this is episode 2, but yes, for you all who have been around, this is stream number 11. Anyway, before we get started, I want to wait for a couple of you all to get into the chat room, so we give y'all a little minute. What's going on Instagram? I see y'all down below. Want to make sure that y'all in here and I'm acknowledging y'all. So we all fam and we in the building and we getting this money taken care of today. All right, so couple things before we get started. The music library for TV, film, and sync is finally launched. I launched that a week ago. I've been taking submissions, so if you all want to get your music synced in TV and film, then give me a holla. You can send your music over to district24submissions@gmail.com. All right, that's district24submissions@gmail.com. And I just want to be clear, this is actually more than just TV and film, okay? This is actually for other things more so than TV and film. I'm going to be working with your music, getting it into advertisements, okay? Whether it be online media, whether it be this new thing that's happening now, podcasting, right? Podcasting has been around for a while, but as they start to monetize podcasting, the music that goes into podcasting is starting to become licensable, and they're now calling this, the industry is now calling this a sync license for podcasting because people will be paying for this. It's a different market. You don't actually get it into podcasts by just say putting it on iTunes. It doesn't work like that. It kind of goes through a back door so businesses can actually license this music. So my service is to provide you all, with access to get your music into different places, more so than just TV and film. All right. So that's a quick little announcement there. And this podcast is available on all major podcast streaming sites right now. That's Breaker, Google Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, and Radio Public. I'm working on Apple Podcasts, but it will be there as well. And I'm also working on the YouTube, okay? All right, so just to give y'all a little reminder, you can actually go back and listen to last week's episode on Spotify. And if that's the best thing for you all, just hop on to Spotify and just check out last week's episode. All right. So since everybody is here, I'm glad you all are in the building today. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So today's thing that I'm bringing to you all is the 4 positions or points of views for selecting a music publisher. Now, I've had some of my friends come to me and say, hey, look, I'm trying to get a music publishing deal. And I tell people all day long, that's fine, that's well, that's great. If you want a music publishing deal, you can go get one today or tomorrow. I mean, that's real. You can actually go and get a publishing deal today or tomorrow by just sitting down and speaking with an A&R that works at one of these publishing houses, right? But it's something I'm gonna get into a little bit later. It's called leverage, all right? So these things I'm going to bring to the forefront. So a music publishing deal may suit you, but only when your leverage is right, because if it's not right, then it doesn't make any sense to have it or even approach it, or even think about pursuing it, okay? So let me start out for the new songwriter. And if you all have any questions about anything containing publishing, even if it's a record deal or a situation like that, or producers or whatever, you all can go ahead and drop some questions in the comment section on Facebook and down here on Instagram. I will answer them as we go through the show. It's okay. Just ask any question that you want. I don't care. No question is a stupid question unless you don't ask it. All right. So here's position number 1 for the new songwriter. All right. The new songwriter may seek a publisher, listen to this, to promote their songs to a commercial artist that may launch the writer's career. This is goal number 1 of any new writer who is trying to get their songs to a publisher or who wants a publishing deal, okay? I don't want you all to think of going and getting a publishing deal as shortchanging the work, because in order to get the publishing deal, you need to have some type of leverage. I'm going to be saying this the whole time. You got to have some type of leverage to get the publishing deal. And then when you get it, don't rely on the publisher to just go and get you the work. They may give you a list of everybody who's looking, and if you have more than enough leverage to just get the deal and you become hot, then they'll start putting you in the studios with everybody that you might or you may desire to hang out with or actually just write with or build a bond with, because that when you come into a publishing deal with leverage, they're going to appreciate that. And that's what they want. All right. You got to have something for them more so than just a stack of songs and you're bringing it in and you're like, oh, okay, let's go and let's get this money. Nah, what they're going to do is they're going to really cut you a check for about 50 grand. All right. That's about all they're going to get you. And then some of that you got to pay in taxes. It's on you. You're going to sign a W-9. All that money gets dumped into your Social Security because you didn't have a company. And next thing you know, it's gone really within 6 months. Okay. So we don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. When we approach a publishing deal, we want to get in there and we want it to be awesome. All right. So the next thing, if you're a new songwriter, you're approaching this from the position of looking to the publisher to provide you with some sync opportunities. And Instagram, I'm a little bit sorry, but this is not my main camera, so I'm gonna have to kind of get you all working like that. I don't know if that'll work. All right, so you want to get some placements in TV and film. Now, here's where I will kind of step out against this. You can go to a publishing company and yes, they will do placements for TV and film. That's great. It's a very expensive deal if that's what you're looking for. If you're only looking for television, film, and advertisement sometimes, that's a very expensive publishing deal just for that service. Because you can come to people like me and others for synchronization opportunities. Okay, so if you want to get your music in the TV and film, going directly to a publishing company is not the most economical way to go. If you're going to go to a publishing company, you want to go there with a whole bunch of things in mind. All right. And it's cheaper. If you're going to go to a sync company, it's a lot cheaper. And a lot of times, just like mine, a lot of sync companies are non-exclusive. Okay. All right. So that's, and I'm going to get into it, but these are new songwriters. This is the position of a new songwriter, which most of you are. There are a few of you all who are on right now that are not new, and I'm going to get to you all in a minute. So we're going to get to every position, but I got 4 positions, okay? All right, so the last thing that a new songwriter may be looking for a publisher with is getting money from overseas or exploiting their songs, let's say in Japan or in Russia or in Nigeria, since Nigeria is popping right now and Sony Music doesn't quite know what to do over there. They keep switching people up in the offices because I don't know if these Africans is really down with these people over there. But anyway, I'm just saying, you know, it's Nigeria's popping. South Africa is building infrastructure for the music game as well. You may want to do something in Australia. Australia may be a good market for you. If you're, say, going over to the UK, that's Scotland and England. You're going over to the UK and that's your market. Let's say you've been promoting music online and this has been bringing you the most revenue. Like for me, the song that you all hear underneath the recap videos that I put out, it's been doing very well in Germany and in England. More so than, and then in the United States, that song has been doing well for me in Portland and Los Angeles. Who knew? But that's what happened. So let's say if I increase my market share, I increase my promotions in Germany and in the UK, then I might want to look for a publisher over there, being a independent publisher. I might want to look for somebody over there to go ahead and get my money and then also give it a little boost of extra promotion over there. All right. Now, these aren't record deals. These are publishing deals. We're talking about exploiting the song. And like I said last week, it can kind of operate like a record company, but the line is very thin there. All right. So these are the 3 points right here for the position of a new songwriter looking for a publisher. All right. So now let's switch modes. Okay, so let's say if you just so happen to be a songwriter and you got a record deal, okay? Or let's say if you're a popular artist and you want to gain a larger sum of the publishing money, okay? Let's say if you want to do that, then what your position will be, and it's not always going to be like this, because if you sign a record deal in this day and age, chances are the record company will come in and take your publishing anyway. But if it was an independent record deal, this is the position that I would put you in right here. I would negotiate for an administration deal. Here's the reason why. Okay, if you're coming in looking for a publisher, but you just so happen to stumble upon a record deal because you might be the next new hottest trap rapper, or you're the next hottest digital Instagram, TikTok artist, and it just skyrockets. And let's say somebody wants to come in and sign you to a single deal and take your publishing. What I would say is do an administration deal. That way, with that, it's a lot cheaper than a co-publishing deal, and the record company will be promoting your record anyway. Right? So why would you go and do a deal, a full-on publishing deal, and you just got a record contract? Doesn't make any sense, because the record company will be promoting your song like hard body out the gate. They're through with it, right? You want to save your money on the music publishing side, so let the publisher just administrate your funds. All right? That's the new artist, the popular artist coming in the gate. So if you ever see, like, I remember I saw Missy say this one time, like, oh yeah, nobody owns my publishing. Of course not. Of course, if you're Missy, if you're any of these artists right now who may have fulfilled their first publishing deal, which was a crappy one coming out the gate, after you fulfill your first deal, you're not going to sign up for another record deal. Another publishing deal, because the record company is taking care of your promotion. You're just going to sit back and collect a fat check. Of course, nobody's going to own your publishing. Doesn't make sense to. You'll have somebody doing admin for you. Therefore, you can say, yeah, I own my own publishing. Sure you do. You're self-published and you have an admin publishing deal. That's what these artists mean when they say, I own my own publishing. If an artist tells you that they're big, right, and they did a deal where they own their own masters. Yeah, they own their own masters, but yet the record label is administrating and collecting the money, because an artist is not going to sit and collect their own money when you're out. You gotta write records. You gotta be on tour. You gotta do all this promo stuff. You want to do other things. No artist is going to keep 100%. The record company may be taking the same 20% that the publishing company is taking. All right? So that's position number 2. Right? And so I just want you all to understand, when people say they own their own masters, they own their own publishing, and they're a major label artist, chances are it's just being administrated by the business affairs department. All right? So just get that out of your head. You're not keeping 100% of your money nowhere, anywhere on the planet. All right, so let's move into it a little bit more. All right, so now I touched on this in the last point, but this is a separate point all in together. All right, so the scenario of this is you, the new writer, becoming the actual recording artist. Okay? So if you're a new writer and you suddenly become a star off of a chance, a record deal or single comes your way, like I was saying previously, you should consider the fact of de-escalation of revenue, and you should account for that in your deal. You will more than likely want to shift to the publisher promoting your past catalog, right? I'm sorry, I'm reading from the wrong point. This is the major writer, all right? So let's say you are Missy Elliott. All right, your popularity, your prime has come down. What you want to do is have the publishing company now exploit your past works. You want to do fun stuff with this now. Now that the record company, their money has ran out on your masters and they're not promoting your records anymore, what you want to do is get a publishing company to go back and then exploit the old works. All right. So I'm saying Missy because I saw that she's hosting the VMAs. Now, what you all might not understand is that Missy, I think it's Sunday, right? And somebody correct me in the room if I'm wrong or not, but she's hosting the VMAs this Sunday, right? Anybody? All right. So anyway, I believe it's this Sunday. But anyway, that's going to cause a spike in her streams. Just like everybody watched the R. Kelly thing and whatever, it caused a spike in the streams and the listenership of the songs. These are moves that publishers and record labels do in order to increase revenue, right? Music is always the byproduct of all this other stuff. So let's say I like to use Tickle Me Elmo or toys that have songs in it. Okay, let's say if you have a particular toy that has a song in it that you bought off the shelf of Walmart, this toy could become so popular that it causes people to want to listen to the song more. Here's another thing. If you have a person like Kanye West who samples a lot, all right? He'll sample a lot of old school records. He samples so much that older artists said, hey, please, can you sample my material? Because they know that if Kanye samples something that they did, it will cause a spike and a rise in the old material. All right? So that's why you want the publisher to go back and say, hey, can you exploit my old catalog? Cool. All right. Well, then let's go talk to Kanye. Let's go talk to Swiss Beats. Let's go talk to some of these artists and see, hey, can you work a sample in on this material right here so it'll work? So you may have someone like a Missy say, all right, let's do Super Duper Fly. Let's see if we can get somebody to either sample the words of Super Duper Fly. Let's see if we can get them to sample the beat. Or let's get them to say the words in a new lyric, right? That way, the publishing company now makes money off of that new song. I'm trying to think of an example of something right now that did that. What was that song? I know I'm super fly. That was Kodak Black, right? Boom. Publishing opportunity right there. That's Missy. That's either Missy or Curtis Mayfield for Superfly, the soundtrack. Because I think he said Super Duper Fly, right? I'm not sure. But it could be a chance that Missy Elliott's record label, the first one, will come back, like Black Ground Records, who released Aaliyah stuff. They may come back and say, hey, that's kind of cutting it close. Can we get a percentage of this? Okay. When I was working on Jamie Foxx's hit record, Blame It on the Alcohol, T-Pain said a lyric in there that he quoted from The Dream. And I forgot what Dream song that was. It was a hit Dream song. And The Dream ended up getting piece of that song, spiking his publishing revenue. It happens. This is what publishing companies do on your behalf. Hey, look, man, we got old work. Let's go exploit it. Let's get some of these new producers on hand. Let's get them to sample our old work. So if you're the major writer, you're looking for a publisher who's savvy enough that will do that for you. And if you're new, it's cool. Let's say you're a medium, low-level artist. You do on average about 50,000 streams of your song, and then you go and talk to a publisher and you say, hey, look, I would like it if you could get someone to sample my work, and then let's get our money to start pouring in from these new areas. All right, that is the true goal of what you want your publisher to do for you. All right. I didn't work with Nate Walker. Like Nate, let me, and I'll sidestep for a second. All right. So the how I got working on that song, I knew Chris Henderson, right? I met Chris in his basement, and Blame It was not even finished yet. It had like a hook and half a verse on there, and Chris was doing most of the background vocals on that record. And when I heard it, I was like, oh man, I've never heard a record like this. This was 2008. Had to be the summer, because I believe that album came out in the winter, the fourth quarter of 2008. And I stayed with that record until until it was pretty much finished. Jamie cut the vocals in LA, shipped the vocals back. Me and Chris worked on mixing it to get it how he wanted it before. Because if you all, I'm seeing somebody on my timeline that knows the producer of this record. Jamie cut the vocals, sent it back to Chris, and then once he did that, we got it right for the mixing engineer, mixed it, it was on the album. All right, there's a lot I'm missing in that story, but one day, how the infamous chops come in is I did the chops. Chris said, hey man, it was like Sunday afternoon. He brings me in and he says, I got this idea for the record, but I don't know how to make the chops and I wanted to go with the hi-hat. Can you help me out? I was like, yeah, because I was a Pro Tools aficionado. Like, all right, so we're gonna take it, we're gonna slice. This is way before stutter edit and all this stuff. So we're just gonna take it, we're gonna slice it like that, and we're gonna make it move to the tap tap to the tap tap tap. And he was like, man, how you do that? I said, we gotta keep changing the grid to tighten it, to lock it the exact way that it's gonna follow it. All right. So yeah, Nate, as far as I know, Nate didn't do too much there on that particular song. But yeah, man, that song got me a Grammy. You know, it got me, you know, into the 3 million record club, and you know, and I started networking with a lot of people, did a lot of things in the industry, and for those that know me, they know me. So, but I'm here bringing you all this knowledge. So I don't want to lose my standpoint here. All right. We were talking about publishing deals. But that was just a little side story from my past right here. But like I was saying earlier, this entire game is about leverage. Period. You won't get a good publishing deal if you don't have leverage. You won't get a good record deal if you don't have leverage. All right? And about the only deal you can get if you don't have leverage is like a synchronization deal. Because, the TV and film world doesn't care about the numbers on the song unless they're trying to do a trailer. They only care about, does the song fit with the dialogue of the picture. That's why I love the sync industry. And though it's going through a couple disruptions, it's been going through disruptions for the last 10 years, but man, has it been crazy over the last 2 years. That's about the only thing you're going to get with no leverage. So it's best to work your material. Take your time and work your record, get enough leverage to say, okay, now I'm ready for a publishing deal. Hopefully it won't be too bad and it'll benefit me. All right. So let me give you a little bit of something I got written down right here. All right. So a typical deal is formulated for the publisher to take the publisher's share, and writers take the writer's share. All right. It is, listen to this now. It's on the publisher to provide the creative, promotional, and administrative services intended to enhance the income upon which the writer and publisher's shares are based. And I said this last week. If you don't have a publisher who is going to exploit your records, what is the point? Okay? What's the point in going and getting a low-level Sony ATV deal? What's the point? It doesn't serve anything to you but a little bit of debt, and now you can't move. I know so many writers who had that $50,000 deal and it didn't work out for them. You know what I'm saying? No problem. I appreciate giving y'all the story. It doesn't work out for them because there's this thing that you end up going into if you sign a publishing deal and you don't take care of your first set of obligations. You go into what's called suspension, where you have to take care of the first obligations, and then you got the second set that you got to take care of. So don't rush into these deals. Period. Have some leverage so you can do a good negotiation on your deal, and then get something that you're happy with, and get partners that you want to work with that you're happy with. Stop signing artists. And now this is to my artists. Stop signing the independent record deal of someone who's putting some money behind you and giving away your masters and giving away your publishing and giving away your merch and giving away your shows. Like, stop doing that. That's not, you don't want to do that for someone who's going to come and give you a stack of money like 10 grand. Boom, here's the deal. Let's do it. No, 10 grand ain't nothing. That's nothing. Nothing. So I want you all, that's the reason why I'm on here. I'm on here so you all don't take these deals. I'm not on here preaching against people who want to work in this record industry. I'm just telling you there's a lot of snakes out there. All right? Publishing deals can be very beneficial to you. Record deals can be very beneficial to you. But this is business. And I keep going back to the phrase that Big Boy says in ATL when he hops out the truck and he's about to shoot little dude because he didn't give him his money. Right? This is grown man's business. And if you don't have your business together, what are you doing? Because you're going to either get railroaded, you're going to get screwed sometimes the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? If you catch my drift there, and you won't be happy about it. And then you'll just go home with your tail between your legs. Like, man, I was hot, man. I did everything I was supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? I wrote my raps. We was in the... Yeah, nobody cares about that. That's not what the business people care about. They care about money. And if they care about money, you should at least understand that they do. To not come in there starry-eyed saying, oh man, I got the best records in the world. Ha ha, great. Can you bring me my money at the end of the day? Because that's really all I care about. We got to keep these lights on. We got to pay for these A&Rs and lawyers and business affairs departments and all that. So are you going to do that for me? Because if you're not, I don't want to waste my time. Or I'm just going to take your masters and your publishing. That's what they think of you. But if you come in there with the same mindset that they have, then you could probably get a better deal. All right. And that's what I'm just here. I'm giving it to you. All right. So let me keep going a little bit. And I'm going to give y'all some new news that I think you'll really like. That's a new segment that I kind of want to bring into this because a lot of this is teaching, but I also want to keep you all abreast on what's going on in the industry. So let me keep going for a little bit. All right. So let me bring in the co-publishing deal. Now, I got this information from, I was at a, if you all in Atlanta know an attorney by the way of Avita Kegler, I don't know how to say her name right, but anyway, she's an attorney for Big Crit and Big Crit, Baby Rose, Joey Badass. She used to host these classes at Georgia State, right? And at the time, I would go there and just parlay with people and future attorneys. That's what it's called, future music attorneys. It was some class. Anyway, I would go there and I would meet all the new lawyers from Georgia State University. And she just so happened to have one of her mentors there, or the woman that she studied with, Yawanda Carter, who's another A-list, big A-list attorney. And she shared this with me. And I recently found this again and I said, okay, I get it. I understood it then, but when I saw it again, it just came full circle. So check this out. Most songwriters will want a piece of the publisher's share. Okay? They will want that as well because they are promoting it as well in this scenario. All right? So the record company is promoting it, and because if you're hot, the record company is promoting it, and you're promoting it because you're out doing radio runs and all this other stuff. So you're going to want what's called a co-publishing deal, and that's not new, but I want you to visualize this, okay? If you all have BMI and ASCAP accounts, a co-publishing deal is a 75-25 income split, okay? Just break for a second because I want you to understand. I don't even have a pencil and pen to write with. Okay. All right, so 75-25 income split. 25 goes to the publisher, 75 goes to the writer or writers and the other publisher owner. All right. So that means that the publisher will have the publisher's pie over here and the writer's pie over here. The publisher will take 50% of the publisher's pie. That means 25% of that other share has to go back to, let's say, the artists themselves. All right. So this is a situation where the other 25% may go totally to the artist, which in most cases it does. Or if you have a manager who is taking a little bit of piece off the top, the manager will get a little bit of that publishing and then the artist will get the rest, okay? Because if we want to be frank, publishing we're talking about the exploitation of the song. And if the songwriter is doing radio runs and concert tours and all, they're promoting the song. All right, now the other 50%, this side goes to all the writers. So if you're like a J. Cole and you produced the beat and you wrote it, good, that goes to you. Big Crit does the same thing, that goes to him. Okay, that's for rap. But for the most part, most writers who write on the songs get that songwriter share. All right, 25% to the publisher. The other 25% of publishing goes to people who will get that, and the writer's share goes to the writer. 75-25 income split. That's how a co-publishing deal works. All right, co-publishing deal. It all depends on leverage, and if you aren't already producing income from your compositions, you can forget it, because most people will not do a co-pub deal with you. And maybe you might get a startup publishing company to do a co-pub deal with you because they want to get into the industry, but you're not going to get that co-pub deal from, let's say, I don't know, Warner Chappelle Music. You're not going to get a co-pub deal from them. No, you're going to get a full-fledged publishing deal. That's just it. All right. Not unless you come in with leverage. That's the key to everything. We got to have leverage, leverage, leverage. All right. So now that we went into the co-pub, let's work our way back, and I'm going to show you, we're going to cheapen that deal. Okay. And this is my last point here. And then we're going to get into some news. I think it'll be great for all you artists out there. If you haven't heard, some of you might have, but we're going to jump into it. Now, if the writer should want to retain all of their publishing income, then understand, you are entering into an administration deal. That means no additional promotion for you unless otherwise negotiated. All right. This deal takes a max of 20%. All right. And that in revenue is 5% less of the co-pub deal. All right. Even though it's like 50, it's, when you look at it on the chart, you're going to just take that extra 5 down and you got 20 there. Because you think it's 50, but it's just, that 20. We're talking about the whole publisher side over here. Just going to tick it down like that. Okay. 20%. The other 30 you all can keep on the publishing side. But that's what an administration deal is. Okay. Now, if we look at that 20% in the whole pie, it's really 12.5. But, that's like if you got, I think, who does that? And I'm explaining it from BMI terms. If you registered that in ASCAP, it'd be 12.5. Because ASCAP does 50-50 on both sides. BMI does 100-100. But I just want to explain that, 20%. So you can cheapen the deal out, take the promotion out, take all the extra stuff out, and just have them collect, and that'll be 20%. And boom, you got an admin deal. All right, so we worked our way up the ladder and back down the ladder. But the one key thing, common thread in all of this, was leverage. Can't do anything without leverage. If you don't have it, you're going to get the worst deal across the board all the time. So if you walk into someone's office thinking you got it, chances are you don't. All right? So, yes. And David Tripp, I want to say that on past streams, I'm always promoting for the self-published artists. So, and once done, you're right. So everybody, I'm on Facebook, so I'm going to read David Tripp. He's chiming in. Good info. It's important to note that artist producers are their own publishers until they enter into a publishing deal. Once done, all of the info discussed applies, and that's true. That's why I put that thing. It might not be there now, but it's in my stories. You'll find it there. If you're self-published, here's the top 5 accounts you need. You need a writer's account with BMI, ASCAP, CSAC. You need a publisher's account with BMI, ASCAP, CSAC. We're on 2. You need a music reports account to get your mechanicals from the companies that music reports pulls money from. That's like Tidal, Apple Music, Amazon Unlimited. All right. You need a Harry Fox account. All right. Need those right there. Harry Fox collects the other mechanical royalties that you need. And the 5th one is a sound exchange account. All right. If you're an artist and you're self-published, like you're distributing stuff to TuneCore, you're the record label as well. So just go ahead and take all of that sound exchange money. So we need a writer's account at a PRO. We need a publisher's account at a PRO. We need a mechanical royalty account at Music Reports. And then we need a mechanical royalty account at Harry Fox. And we also need a sound exchange account. Now, that combined with the LLC and all your music, you are a fully functional, fully operational publishing company. It doesn't boil down to it until you realize that, oh man, I'm making a lot of money, but now I can't handle it, and now I need a publishing deal. Now you got leverage. Once you work your way up to the point where it's like, I really can't handle this, I need a publishing company, let me go get a pub company to do some administration for me. All right? And then you get a little bit more leverage and you say, all right, let's see if we can do a co-pub deal, because the money that you would collect and the exploitation that you would do on my behalf benefits me. All right, let's jump into some news real quick. All right. If some of you all don't know, Spotify for Artists has been around for about 2 years, but Apple Music on August the 8th just launched a new program just like Spotify for Artists, but they had some key things in mind that I like. For one, Apple bought Shazam for $400 million last year, and I think that was a really great thing. I didn't know what that move was going to be for, but because they did it, it makes all the sense in the world. So on August 8th, which was last week, they launched Apple Music for Artists. All right, so this is going to give you way more insight than Spotify for Artists, right? I love the Apple Music Spotify battle that they got going on here. Okay, so what it's going to give you is streaming plays on Apple Music, album streams and single streams, you know, all the streaming data, as well as song sales on iTunes. Now, I wish they would have had this a long time ago, because having that disrupts what what SoundScan is. I know you all used to hear, SoundScan, this, that, and the third back in the day. SoundScan accounts are really expensive monthly to get that sales data, just to get your data. Back in the day, we used to just call around asking people to say, oh man, do you have a SoundScan account? Do you have a MediaBase account? Do you have a BDS account? Please let me know what my radio spins are doing, because I think one number I heard thrown out for a SoundScan account was like $1,000 a month or something like that. And don't necessarily need that, but with them reporting sales from iTunes into your Apple Music for Artists, that changes the game. It's a little late in the day for it, but it's still pretty cool. For those of you all who have fans that will actually buy stuff from iTunes, that's a great thing for you. All right, now, so they're also giving you data that Spotify won't. They're allowing you to see down into the city on the strong points and the parts of the city who stream your song the most. That's crazy. That's crazy. So like in Atlanta, like let's say we have venues on the southern side of town, like the Lakewood Amphitheater, and I think that's really the only one on the south side. Yeah. Anyway, but then on the north side, you'll have stuff like the Gwinnett, the Cobb Energy Arena, that Gwinnett Arena way up there in Duluth for all of my Atlanta people that are online. And you've got the Coca-Cola Roxy at the Brave Stadium. And you can kind of see, like, if the north side of Atlanta is streaming your material more so than the south side, it might benefit you to do a show on the north side. Get it? Right? So they're allowing you to do this in over 100 countries. See all the way down to the city level, to see your data, to see the strong key points in the city. I think this is really cool. All right, check this out. Artists can also monitor how many plays of a particular song in a given period have been generated by playlists as opposed to organic plays from fans, right? So that lets you know, like, okay, if I'm listening to a playlist, but I'm not actively seeking, let me see how many unorganic playlist streams I'm getting versus people who are actually listening to it. Spotify doesn't do that, but I have a feeling that they will do that as this battle unfolds. And what position their track has been placed within these lists. All right. So in Spotify, you don't know when they put your stuff in a playlist. You have to go check each playlist. You don't know, like, if I'm on the top or I'm in the middle, like I'm at the end. You don't know until you go and check it. You don't have time to check these playlists, but Apple Music will let you do that. And they pay more than Spotify, right? So I'm just really excited for this. And they can also see how many of their streams are the result of the algorithmic radio versus active plays. That's like the Apple Radio, Beats One Radio, and all that. So that's a cool thing. Apple is putting Shazam data front and center within their AMAF app. allowing artists to examine where their music has been most Shazammed in particular locations and in particular time periods. The cool thing, if you've never used the Shazam app and gone in, there's a map that lets you know what cities, like what's the hottest song in each city. So let's say if you're a touring artist and you want to go in and do like the hottest song in that city, all you have to do is go on Shazam, look at the map. Let's say if I'm in Houston, I want to go to see what's the top 20 songs that are being Shazammed in Houston. And you'll see like local songs that are hot in Houston that you wouldn't know, but people in Houston know these songs because the DJs are playing it and they're Shazamming it in the club. And now if you're doing a show, you can work in a cool local record into your show by way of Shazam. That's how cool Shazam is. And I think a lot of people don't use it in that way. Okay? And I learned this when I was on the road. I'm like, oh man, there's like different cities listening to different things. Every playlist is not the same. Once you pass those top 3 songs, everything is different. Like you can even go to Africa and see what they're streaming and Shazamming in, I think, what was the country? Liberia, Namibia. I was just looking one day in Namibia. There's like one main city in Namibia, Africa, because that's the desert over there. But yet they got Shazam. Who knew, you know? But it's pretty cool like that. In addition, artists can see a basic count of the average number of daily listeners to their music, broken down by country, city, or song, while there is a dedicated section breaking out their video plays on Apple Music. So this now brings videos back into the forefront. For you artists that are on here, I want you to understand that as the social media landscape begins to further expand, artists are going to now start shifting as these algorithms get tighter on Instagram and Facebook. They're going to start putting their focus totally within the social platforms of Apple Music and Spotify, so that you're going to start doing your promo work there, because they're working on these video databases so you can, you know, put material out to your audience there, right? Spotify is trying to do that. There's some push and pull with it, but at least they're making waves doing it. All right. I think lastly for this, and this is a big one, acts are automatically alerted when there are meaningful changes to their data. For example, the first week plays of a new release versus their previous week 1 plays, milestones like 1 million plays, right? If you're getting that. And just to be clear, like a million spins will roughly get you, depends on how quickly you get it. I just want to be right. Let's see, on Apple Music, they're paying 0.0006 of a penny. Let's see, times a million. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Make sure I got the right amount of zeros. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, cool. All right. 6,000. I know it took me a long time to do that math, but yeah, about 6,000. All right. So let me read a couple comments in from Instagram. Sorry, y'all. I know I got my finger in the way. Hold on. Says, I'm always on Shazam for my playlist called. Okay, I'm not shouting out your playlist, dude. But anyway, for my playlist on Apple Music and Spotify, helping artists like Baby Rose. Okay, well then I'll shout you out then. All right. So I'm always on a Shazam for my playlist called A Bro Mix and A Lady Likes. I don't know. This is Instagram, man. Instagram is wild with it today. All right. So helping artists like Baby Rose each Uber ride at a time. I appreciate that. Her album is coming out, by the way, on August the 22nd. I am not on that album, but this is an endeavor she wanted to jump into herself. By the way, I work with an artist named Baby Rose. She is putting out an album, and it's coming out. She's been on tour with Ari Lennox, which is J. Cole's artist, and she's getting ready to tour in the UK, so you all look out for her. Let's see, and I think I was done for that. But that's cool, man. So here's one last thing for the podcast thing that I mentioned earlier in the stream. Podcast, man. Podcast. So podcasts have been around since, I don't know, what, 2000, 2010, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe earlier, 2009, 8-ish. I don't know. I don't have any podcast historians on here, but I know they've been around for quite some time. Music has been very hard to synchronize in these podcasts for the simple fact that anybody and everybody can start a podcast. And now the government agency that people don't understand, it's a government mitigating agent. I'm not mitigating, but like a mediator. Sound Exchange, right? So that people can get paid record royalties. They're teaming up with a company called Source Audio so that people can license music for podcasts. Now, I have an account with Source Audio. It's not for a mainstream person who wants to do this. This is actually for publishers, okay? But this is a good thing for you all, because as this unfolds, podcasts will soon grow to become that billion-dollar industry that it will be. Everybody is going to be doing a podcast, from me, what I'm doing right now, to your mama down the street. Everybody will have a podcast, something about baking cakes. I don't know, being a grill master. I'm giving you a podcast on music business. And when you go listen to my podcast on Spotify or Breaker or Radio, Google Podcasts and Radio Public, when you go listen, you will hear the music that I have underneath the podcast. All this music has to be licensed. And now, because this is a new thing and podcasts are really gaining momentum, they're now having to put in licenses for podcasts, and they have to make it available. And this is going to open a whole new floodgate. So you're going to start seeing you're going to see radio personalities leave radio stations because of this. Like, you can already see it happening with the Breakfast Club. Charlemagne used to have one called The Brilliant Idiots with the dude from, I think it was on Andrew Schultz. He was on Saturday Night Live, I think. Anyway, but he had one, but then they broke apart, and he has his own podcast show. And if you look at that show, he has the exact same radio equipment that they have at Power 105.1. Because when people can put music in podcasts now, right? These podcasts can reach streams of just whatever. You can have a DJ that's so popular, have a podcast, and he puts your music in there, it gets licensed, but then the streams jump up from that. So not only do you get paid from that, but then you get the excess residuals from that. So people go back and listen to your song. People can actually start radio shows now. And especially with Sound Exchange in conjunction with Source Audio with this means that this is more money coming back to the publisher. All right, coming back to you if you're self-published. This is just one implementation of it. There will be more. I've seen Sound Exchange charge like webcasters like $500 a year to license music, like if you're on a low level. But podcasts, I imagine they may do something like they'll do blanket licenses for, I don't know, maybe $200 a year or something. You can use all the music you want to, which is a cool thing. So this is a cool outlook for the music publishers and the self-published people out there. I think you all should be on the lookout for that. But I want to take some questions, man. Like I've seen a couple things that people have dropped in the comment section, but I'm gonna take some questions. So Facebook, if you got some, drop some questions in the comment section, man. But I'm gonna read these from Instagram really quick. All right, so appreciate that, man. This is somebody chiming in about Baby Rose. Facebook, drop me some questions, man. Anything you got, music business related. It doesn't matter. Production, publishing, somebody stole your music, you didn't do something right with the copyright, whatever. Says she is the dopest thing on the planet. Appreciate you, Casey. Catch your next episode. Hey, man, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I do all of these shows for the independent artists, not just to promote myself and what I'm doing, but I do it because I feel that you all should understand this music business. I'm not saying that you're going to be a lawyer. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, if I can give you information to make your situation better, why not? If I know it, why not? If you know it, you should teach it, and that's why I do it. All right. So anyway, last thing I want to say, thank you all for tuning in to episode 11. If you want to submit music to me for TV and film, wait, before I go away, let me express to you all that I do put music in TV and film. I've been very successful. one of my main networks is TV One. All right, BET is a secondary network for me. All right, and especially for those producers out there who have stacks and tons of beats on the hard drive, and you don't know what to do with it, and artists aren't paying enough. They're trying to pay you $100, or you maybe work with that one A-list artist and they'll give you $2,000, but you got a ton of beats sitting. I'm your guy. Reality show music, that is, man, like it's a key thing for me. So if you want some of your music in those shows, hit me up. You can send stuff to district24submissions@gmail.com. All right, that's district24, the number 24, not the word, but the number 24 submissions@gmail.com. Send me an email. I'll send you a form to fill out, and we'll get you up and running, and we'll get this music into the catalog and get you some placements on TV, man. That's what I do. Lastly, you can listen to the recap of this podcast as soon as the show is over on Spotify. It may take about an hour for it to get up, but it will be on Spotify. And then you can also check it out on Google Podcasts, Breaker, Radio Public, and whatever else it shows up on in the future. All right, so that's been it for episode 11. I love that you all came out in droves today. I appreciate all 12 of y'all. So it will expand, and I don't care, all right? So I appreciate all 12 of you all for tuning in, getting this knowledge. Every week I'm here Tuesday, 8:30, unless something happens, unless I'm on vacation or whatever. I'll be here Tuesday, 8:30. Holla at me. All right. Oh, and last thing. If you're in Atlanta, September 19th, I will be speaking at Ponce City Market, doing more of what I do now. So September 19th at the General Assembly on the second floor, I will be there. All right. Hey, got a quick question. Not going away. Hang tight. All right. So Facebook is chiming in. Let's see. Hi, Casey. Can you break down ASCAP, CSAC, and BMI? What is your preference in companies? In companies, is it okay? I'm gonna read it exactly how you wrote it. Hi, Casey. Can you break down ASCAP, CSAC, and BMI? What is your preference in companies? Is worth it to go through them, or just go through the Library of Congress instead? Okay, I believe what you're referring to is if ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC are copyright, will suffice for copyrights. I did a previous stream on this, but let me explain. Okay, no, they're they're separate organizations. BMI, CSAC, and ASCAP are PROs, performance rights organizations. They collect on the performance of your song, okay? Has nothing to do with copyright, okay? Nothing to do with copyright. And let me chime in real quick. Email again is district24submissions@gmail.com. Okay? Now, if you're going to send your music around, okay? If you're sending your music around because you wrote a song and it's done and you want to get it placed, right? You're your own publisher. You want to state that this song is copywritten. And this is especially for songwriters who are trying to get material out there. This is what I would limit my material that's going out there, because ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC are not copyright agencies. You're gonna wanna, here's a tactic. Okay, I got this from Polo the Don. He did this. He had a beat CD with like 10, 12 beats on it. Same beats, copyrighted the beats through the Library of Congress. Okay, copyright.gov. Copyrighted those beats. His best material. One of those beats was London Bridge that Fergie did. And it was another popular song Carrie Hilson did. Or Luda, I think Luda might have got on it or something. He sent that beat tape around so much, and it was the only beat tape he sent out. He just random beats. Because remember, he was in the rap crew Jim Crow. That was out in Atlanta. Holla at a Player. That was Polo, okay? He sent that beat tape around so much, copied the same CD and sent it around until he got somebody to take a listen, okay? Limit the stuff that you're going to send around. Copyright the stuff that you're going to send if you're a songwriter or if you're a producer. If not, here's what I recommend, okay? This is what I recommend now. If you're going to send around your material, in the metadata of your ID3 tag, like, so you can go to iTunes and hit get info, so you can type in, change your title. You want to put the copyright circle in the title, and then you want to put the P in the circle. That's like for the phono record thing. You want to put that in there to let people know it's copywritten. And I would do that for almost every field. And then in your email, I would say, hey, I would put that C in the circle again at the bottom of the email. All material in this email is copywritten. All right. Copyright 2019 by your name. I'm not going to say it to everybody. All rights reserved. I mean, tag it up that it's copywritten so people know. And the reason why you're doing this is because by U.S. government law, this is called a copyright notice. When you're serving this notice publicly by sending your material around, you're telling people that your material is copywritten and they can't steal it. All right? You have proof of this. This is my theory, and I believe that this should work. I believe this should hold up in court, and it'll get you through so you don't have to pay the $55 per every 10 songs. But if you can stomach it, go ahead and pay the $55 every 10 songs. But that's just a workaround. But to answer your question, no, ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC are not copyright organizations, and they cannot protect your material just because you register that. All right. So yeah, man, you all, I really appreciate you all for coming out. Any more questions? Instagram, y'all been kind of quiet. Facebook has been chiming in. I'll take a couple more questions. What's going on, everybody? I appreciate the subs and all of that. But if you all have questions containing music business, drop them really quickly. If you got something that, hey, man, I can't find the right drum kit. Where do I go find drums? Something, I'll answer it. Thank you, Instagram, for giving me the follow shout outs. Yes, you all can follow me on Instagram at CaseyGraham_24. And Instagram, you all can follow me on Facebook, just Casey Graham. Just search me. I actually will be wearing this white t-shirt in the photo, okay? And this gold chain, all right? So you can find me there. All right, so that's it for tonight. I really appreciate you all. And yes, you can go back and find that stream that I was talking about, the copyright stuff. It's actually on Facebook. I will be working on uploading the past streams to my podcast sites, so you can catch them there. I'll be going back and re-editing those. I have to edit those down for that because I wasn't in show mode. But anyway, you all will be able to go catch the old episodes. All right. Anyway, that is it for tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. Catch the recaps later this week. You also all can catch my notes. That I'll put all these notes on my Medium page, and I'll share it to Facebook and Instagram, and it'll be on my link tree on my Instagram, so you can click down and find my Medium page and find all the blogs and all the written stuff from this show. All right, once again, submit music to me if you want it in TV and film. That's district24submissions@gmail.com. I will talk to you all next week, next Tuesday, 8:30 live. I'm here in the building with you all discussing what it is so you don't get screwed over in this music industry. All right, I'm out. Peace.